So building up on what Rotem just presented, I will deep dive into different aspects of platforms operations as captured in our data for 2021 and 2022. I should mention that most insights refer to the whole sample as well as or subsample of platforms divided by model and by region. So to begin with, we asked platforms for how long they've been running their business, and as you can see from the graph on the left, the oldest platforms date back from 20 years ago. There are quite a few platforms established recently in the last couple of years. However, we can also notice that most platforms were actually established 8 or 9 years ago, suggesting that the crowdfunding market in Europe matured over time. We were also interested in observing whether there is any correlation between the number of years in business and the volumes per platform. And while we established such a connection, the relationship is, from a statistical point of view, is relatively weak, again suggesting that there aren't significant first mover advantages in the crowdfunding market, and that platforms can compete on different features. We were also interested in international scale of platform operations. More specifically, we wanted to find out which proportions of volumes come from foreign versus domestic backers. As you can see from both graphs, domestic backers are dominant in all three different model types. However, the highest proportions of volumes originating from foreign backers are captured in lending, representing about 17% of volumes in 2021 and about 12% of volumes in 2022. In sharp contrast to lending are non-investment volumes, where the presence of foreign investors accounts for only 0.1% of volumes in both 2021 and 2022. So we also wanted to examine the exact same question, but by looking into regional disparities. So the highest proportions of volumes from foreign backers were captured in Northern Europe, representing about 32% of volumes in 2021 and close to 25% of volumes in 2022. In contrast, the lowest proportions are captured in Western Europe, representing only 2.1% of volumes in 2021 and 2.6% of volumes in 2022. Another interesting question to explore are existing collaborations with the traditional financial sector. So platforms either stated that they had no formal relation with traditional finance, or they could indicate one or more types of collaborations, ranging from partial ownership, full ownership, to strategic partnership, promotional partnership, and lead exchange. And as you can see from the graph on the left side, partnerships and collaborations with the traditional finance are most common in the equity crowdfunding space, where more than 2/3 of all platforms stated that they had some sort of cooperation with the traditional sector. Among them, the most common type of cooperation was promotional partnership. In contrast to equity platforms, collaborations were less common in non-investment crowdfunding, where they accounted for less than 50% of platforms. However, among non-investment platforms, promotional partnerships are quite common. We were also interested in different model combinations. So basically, we wanted to find out whether it's common for platforms to run more than one model. What's interesting is that 60% of all platforms offer only one model, while 40% offer 2 or more models. However, there are some important disparities across regions. So 73% of South European and 64% of Western European platforms offer a single model, whereas the highest share of platforms offering more than one model was captured in Eastern Europe, about 54% of platforms running different models. We were also interested in model combinations. So among those platforms that run 2 or more models, we were interested in finding out which models are commonly combined. First, we wanted to find out which combinations are common within each model group, and then we wanted wanted to investigate whether there are certain combinations across model groups. So within model groups, for instance, in equity crowdfunding, revenue sharing is commonly combined with equity crowdfunding. Within a lending-based crowdfunding, peer-to-peer business lending is commonly combined with peer-to-peer property lending. And finally, within non-investment group, subscriptions are commonly combined with donation crowdfunding. However, we also captured some model combinations across different model groups. For instance, fractional ownership of real estate is combined with peer-to-peer business lending, and security tokens with peer-to-peer business lending. And there is much more detailed data about these combinations in the actual report. This is just a high-level overview. Then we wanted to check the interest and default rates in European crowdlending platforms. So this slide only applies to crowdlending. To begin with, peer-to-peer lending for consumers offers a relatively high interest rate, on average for about 11.11%, and a relatively low default rate of about 1.1%. Then there are three other lending models that offer similar interest rates. So peer-to-peer lending for business, peer-to-peer lending for property development, and mini bonds all offer interest rates ranging from 7.41 to 8.16%. However, among them, the model that offers the lowest default rates are mini bonds. And finally, microfinance, given its pro-social cause, has the highest default rate, which is about 4% and equal to the average interest rate. Thanks so much. I believe that Carsten will take over from here and present on licensing. Thanks so much.